Yes, in a sense, there is one requirement for you to manifest your goals, and we're going to talk about this right now. So if we wouldn't be bound to this 3D world, whatever we'd imagine would immediately be a fact. There would be no time and local distance, okay? So understand that, right? I really want you to not just listen to some nice words and fill up your mind. Stay with me. Understand that. Really be present right now, okay? So again, if you would not be bound to this 3D world, so what do we experience in the 3D world? We experience time and we experience space, distance, right? But in imagination, there is no time and space, right? With your imagination, you can go beyond that because you could right now be in any place. You could right now be in any time. You could right now imagine yesterday, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, right? You can imagine, in 1 month from now. You can imagine right now at the end of this year. You can imagine next year, the end of next year. You can imagine your next vacation. You can imagine meeting your friend, hearing his voice. So imagination can bring you everywhere. Everything is in imagination. So imagination does not know time and space. But in this world, right, since we experience the world through the mind, we are bound to time and space on this level, right? In imagination's level, there is no time and space and we're free. So meaning, like I said here, right, if we would not be bound, if there would no 3D experience happen, right, if this wouldn't be the case, then whatever we would imagine, if I would right now close my eyes and feel the sand on my beach, or feel the car key in my hand, or have the car, or have the partner, be in this relationship, have the money, have the success, have the health, it would immediately be a fact. But because we are bound to time and space, it can, in a sense, seemingly take a while until it reflects, right? The 3D world is a little bit more slower. So within, I can be it immediately and right now be in the wish fulfilled, whereas externally, it takes a while for that to catch up to where you stand within, right? So in this world, we're bound to time and space. And the only requirement for the manifestation is our belief, right? Your belief in what you just experienced, your faith in that, your conviction, that is what carries the unseen into the scene, right? That is what's bringing the invisible into sight so that your senses can experience it, right? So faith is, in a sense, what glues you to the desired reality, right? You can imagine that it exists, but by you starting to believe in it, starting to be convinced of it, starting to have this faith, this trust, this loyalty to it, making it natural over time, this is what's going to be reflected. So in a sense, the only requirement, therefore, is your faith, your conviction, your belief in it, right? So that's the only requirement so that you can also experience it in the 3D world. But remember my words, if there would be no 3D experience, whatever you would imagine would immediately be a fact. Because it is a fact. You tune into that reality. It does exist. It's right there. It's right here, right now, once you imagine it. But it's not in your sense world yet. But by you keeping loyal to it, and creating this belief for it by experiencing it again and dwelling in that desired reality, dwelling in that desired state within, you in a sense also manifest it, right? So believing in your desire does not mean that you have to trust and believe in the law of assumption. This is a key point for me, right? Many people say, oh, okay, but I'm new to this law, or I don't really believe in manifestation. I have not manifested so many things consciously lately. I don't believe in it. That's fine. It's still operating. You don't have to trust that this law functions before you can apply it, because you applied your whole life. It's functioning all the time. So the trust in the law and that there is a law, so to speak, will develop over time. But you don't need to believe like in this law right now in order to start shifting into a desired state. So even if you have not heard at all about this law, have not applied it at all consciously, oftentimes the manifest law, you could still start to imagine your desire and dwell in it and make it natural, and you will still see the world starting to reflect things back to you, although you don't believe in this law. So it's about the belief, faith in the wish fulfilled state. And we will also talk about in this video how you gain that, how you develop that, how you acquire that, so to speak, this trust, this faith, this belief in your wish fulfilled state, where you know it is done. So what is faith, right? Faith basically is the conviction of things not seen with the mortal eye. That is faith, right? The conviction, the trust, the realization, the knowing of things not seen with the mortal eye, with your senses right now. So faith is loyalty to the unseen reality, right? So what are things that are not seen with the mortal eye, right? If we say things is the conviction of things not seen with the mortal eye, these things that we can't see with the mortal eye, what is that, right? That is your imaginative experience, right? That is your imaginative acts, your imaginary experiences, the words you hear, the scenes you encounter, the things you envision, the things you experience in your inner world, right? These are the things not seen with your mortal eye. And so faith is the conviction, therefore, of your imaginary experiences, right? So if faith means the conviction of things not seen with the mortal eye, and things not seen with the mortal eye are your imaginative experiences, then translated it means faith are the conviction of your imaginative experiences. Because these are the things that are not seen with your mortal eye. I hope this makes sense, right? So faith means the conviction, the knowing that this is already real, that this is already in existence. Your imagination is real. It's a spiritual experience outside of your senses, but it is already within creation. So your conviction will bring this unseen reality into the outer world, because it all starts in the non-physical, right? It all starts in the unseen reality. It all starts on what you envision, make true for yourself subjectively, and then the world simply reflects that, and then others in the world around you will also see it, but it starts within. Like this example with this car manifestation that I shared in this video. I will link it above right now, where I imagined having this car, feeling the car keys. No one could see it, but I could know that I have it by me experiencing, feeling this car key. So check out this video. So faith does not give reality to that which is unseen. So it's not that you start to give reality to something. No, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality, meaning it is already there. And by you dwelling in it, you make it natural, certain, stable. You create this conviction, this self-persuasion, and then this is carried in the mirror of life. So now the big question obviously is, how do we gain this conviction? Right? How do we gain this conviction that it is done, that we are it, that we have it? And this is such a conviction as your name is X, Y, and Z, as my name is Niklas. How can I gain the conviction for any desire which is as strong as my conviction, as my knowing that my name is Niklas? Right? How do we do that? We're going to talk about this. So the internal conviction that is done can be gained, first of all, for any goal. No matter which desire it is, you can gain this conviction that, yes, I experienced this. Yes, this is within me. Yes, this is in existence. Yes, I have this. Yes, this is already what I have or who I am. And how? By surrendering yourself to the imaginative, the internal experience of the wish fulfilled in the here and now. So you have to really drop your whole being in the state of the wish fulfilled, right? And how? How would I do it? What would be the main approach is to imagine a scene that implies it is done. There's so many obviously like techniques and tools, but remember, all of them are only tools helping you identify with the wish fulfilled, helping you identify with the feeling, the mood, this knowingness that it is done. And very important key point right now, okay? Faith, belief, is a consequence of the subjective internal experience of the wish fulfilled. Let it sink in, okay? We ask ourselves in the beginning, okay, what is the only requirement for your manifestation? And now we discovered, okay, it's this belief, it's this knowingness that it is done, right? And so this knowingness, some people think that they need to have this from the first moment on, that I have the desire. I need to believe that this is possible. I need to believe that I can have this. I need to have this faith right now. But this is usually not possible because you have no reason to believe it. You have no reason to have faith in it, right? So therefore I said faith is a consequence of the subjective internal experience of the wish fulfilled. So you can't just slip and have faith and have belief that your desire is possible, right? If you have never had this car, if you have never had this money, if you have, it's been a while since you have been with this person or been in this relationship or been happily partnered or have a successful business or have had health, whatever, then right now your mind has no reason to believe that it's possible. But by you appropriating it subjectively, by you occupying it subjectively in your inner world again and again and again, right, it's a consequence of this subjective internal experience of the wish fulfilled. So the more you dwell on the wish fulfilled, the more natural, stable, habitual, normal, natural it will become for you. So faith and belief grows as a result of you starting to dwell in the desired reality. It's okay if right now you can't believe, but it will grow the more you go into the wish fulfilled. Although the 3D currently shows the opposite, right? Even if your world right now does not conform yet, that's fine. We still have the power to assume things into existence, right? To assume, right? Persistent assumption hardens into fact. I'll have a video on this, like how you can let your assumptions harden into fact. So how to know that you are now believing, but how do you know that you have reached this point of satisfaction? The key is that your desire dies. The key is that, you expect it. You no longer have a desire for it. You just expect it to happen. You know it's done. You no longer desire it. You no longer look for signs. Your reactions to life has changed, right? There are certain indications. I also have a video on my channel called, indications that you have shifted. So if you type in on YouTube, upgrade your life, indications that I've shifted, or upgrade your life, have you shifted? Then I have some videos that can help you to understand if you have shifted, where you can check in on yourself if you're now seeing the world from this new state. But as long as you ask this, right, as long as you usually ask, have I shifted? Is it done? Is there more I need to do? That is usually an indication that it's not fully done. Because if it's done, and if you fully believe, if it's fully like normal for you, then usually this question no longer really comes up. So how do we know that we're now believing? It's the point of satisfaction, right? It's the point where we no longer desire. It's the point where we no longer react the opposite. We no longer hope. We no longer seek for, try to make it happen, look for signs. It is an accomplished fact for us within, but it is natural. So at one point, your current external circumstances will start to seem unnatural. Like, this is no longer me, right? So your current circumstances will start to seem unnatural. What do I mean by that? So someone that has health symptoms, if they start to dwell in the state of health, imagining a thing that implies to them that they're healthy. Maybe right now they can't move their arm. They start to imagine that they do push-ups or pull-ups, or they do anything that implies that it's done. More and more so, this inner conviction, this belief will grow. More and more so, therefore, because within they already stand in this new state, external these circumstances still show them the old state, and therefore the current circumstances will start to seem unnatural. Like, this is no longer me. This is no longer what I identify with, because you have started to identify with something new in yourself. And your reactions will change as a result of that new internal state, like I said. So the summary is that you only reach faith, that you only reach belief in your desire as a result of dwelling in the wish-fulfilled state, right? So my recommendations are, first, never imagine the wish itself, right? But imagine who you are as the person living your life naturally with the wish fulfilled already being in your life. Okay, so don't see the car and picture it in front of you, being like, oh my God, I want this, or picturing the wedding, picturing the specific person in front of you, picturing the relationship, picturing the apartment. No. If you have this, what would imply it? You would maybe someone would make a comment. Maybe you would feel the keys. Maybe you would, go after that end. That's my recommendation. Yes, you can include the desire in your scene, but for most people that brings in more unnaturalness, more emotions, more euphoric feelings. We want to make it very natural. Who are you as the person having your desire? That's the key question. Recommendation 2, imagine for the sake of being it now, not to get it. Don't bring in your inner world this sense of it's not here yet. I do this to get it soon. Because that indicates to the mirror of life that you're not having it yet. So imagine for the sake to experience the wish fulfilled in you without this secret expectation of, but I want to make this happen. I'm waiting for it. Take away the waiting, experience the wish fulfilled in you, and you will see how effortless that is. And my third recommendation is, and reminder, is that you only expand your limits of belief in your imagination. So if right now you can't believe that you can make double of income, that you can make 5x of your current income, that you can have this, be this, then that is totally, obvious, because in your current state, this belief isn't there. But once you outgrow your current state by starting to shift the new state via your imagination, right? So you only expand your limits of belief in your imagination by going in a new state. Then your beliefs will change, right? Your beliefs are bound to your current state. And I want to conclude this video with 2 quotes from Neville. So if you have a goal, although it is unseen right now, although your senses, it's not in your external world, it exists. Your normal mortal eye cannot see it. But by rearranging the structure of your mind, right, by repositioning yourself in your internal world, you can see it clearly. If, as the days follow another, you remain loyal to this unseen reality, right? You keep dwelling in it, you nurture it, you come back to it, you maneuver back to it if you should react the opposite or fall out of that desired state, and your goal is reached, you will have discovered the mystery of creation. Now, can I remain faithful to that scene, to that imaginary experience? Right? My faith is not going to give it reality, but my loyalty to the unseen reality will. I listen and remember what I heard. And in the tomorrows, I continue to remember. Then in its own appointed time, when that which I've been faithful to externalizes itself, I will have found the great secret of creation. The great secret is your imagination. The great secret is, where do you shift your imagination, which is consciousness, which is God? Where do you shift that to? Where do you shift that in? Where do you dwell within? What do you awaken in yourself? All right. So to conclude, the only requirement, in my experience, in my opinion, is belief and faith. You can't force this. You don't need this from the first moment on. right? Belief in your desired state, it grows as a result of you shifting in it. But once you have this faith, this belief, your desire starts to die. You already know it's done. You know it's real. You know it exists. You no longer want to try to make it happen because it happened already for you within. And then the world can confirm this, right? If we would not be bound to senses, to time and space, you could imagine right now having this, and you would have it right now in your imagination because you would not bound to anything. You would imagine it and you would have it. But here we imagine something and it doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes it takes a while until the world catches up. The mirror sometimes can be a little bit slow and in a delayed, reverberant way express that and reflect that back. But as you stay loyal and faithful to this inner state, it will happen eventually. So if you need any help with that, check out the 2 links in the video description, pinned comments, my free masterclass, where I explain to you how you can shift in the version of yourself that already has achieved the goal. And if you want to work with me in my program, then simply check this out. It's the 2nd link down beneath, and there you can work with me. You have a system, you have a proven system, you have like-minded people in a private community, so it's not public, it's not like an anonymous Reddit group where you have like dozens of people. No, it's like very active, engaging people that you see, that you know, that you can connect with. People already build friendships in there. People already build like their own unique little connections and groups where they, have weekly accountability calls underneath each other. We have calls with me. There are private coaching sessions as well. There is a structured online academy. So if you really want a system and a program to all of these teachings, then I invite you to join mine if it resonates. And I speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.